Okay, so we've all had those awkward family holidays, right? But I promise you, this story, it's on a whole other level. This is about a woman named Phyllis. She's a plumber, and her breaking point at Thanksgiving dinner sparked a revenge plan that was literally 2 years in the making. Yeah, you heard that right.
Just two words, lick it off. That's what her 5-year-old nephew says to her after he dumps a whole plate of turkey and gravy right in her lap. Can you even imagine? And honestly, that was it. That was the match that lit a fuse that had been simmering for a long, long time. This wasn't just about some ruined genes or a bratty kid. It went so much deeper than that. For Phyllis, this was the boiling point. The end of years of being her family's personal ATM, their emotional punching bag. And it was the exact moment she decided, you know what? I'm done. Done fixing their problems. It was time to start fixing her own life. So picture this. Phyllis is trying to clean hot gravy off her pants, and her sister, Haley, she just laughs. Not a little chuckle, I mean a genuine belly laugh, like it's the funniest thing she's ever seen. And her only comment? Oh, boys will be boys. No apology, no are you okay, nothing. For Phyllis, that was the final straw. Something just clicked into place. So later that night, Phyllis gets this text message from her own mother. It just says, "Don't contact us again." Like a clean break, that's it. And to really twist the knife, her sister Haley hearted the message. They thought they were just, I don't know, canceling her, cutting her off. But what they had no clue about was what was coming next. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. Phyllis wasn't shocked. She wasn't even really hurt. She was prepared. She sends back this calm, cool, calculated reply. Anyways, I'm removing my name from every loan. You have 48 hours. That's it. Then she just turned off her phone. She knew this was going to cause a complete implosion. Because see, that wasn't a threat. It was a notification. The whole plan was already in motion. Okay, so to really get what that text means, we gotta rewind a bit. We need to look at the last 2 years of Phyllis's life. Because during that time, she had been quietly, and I mean meticulously, building something she called her insurance policy. And that was basically a record of every single dollar that went to her sister. Now, this wasn't just some casual list on a napkin, okay? We are talking about a digital fortress of evidence, a folder on her phone backed up to the cloud, all perfectly organized by date and by type of expense. It was stone-cold proof of every co-signed loan, every last-minute text begging for rent money, and every single broken promise to pay her back. And here is the heart of the whole problem. On one side, you have Haley's Instagram feed. She's this successful entrepreneur, building her empire, living her best life. And on the other side, the cold, hard reality from Phyllis's phone. Just a constant stream of desperate texts asking for cash. Literally every single flex you see on social media was being bankrolled by Phyllis's hard work as a plumber. So, how did it start? Well, it started small, $180. Phyllis sends it to Haley for an electric bill that she swears is about to be shut off. Then, a week later, what does Phyllis see? Haley posting photos from a super fancy dinner with friends wearing a brand new outfit that probably cost more than the bill Phyllis had just paid. That was the first big red flag. Next up, $300. This was for her nephew's daycare deposit, a supposedly critical, can't-miss expense. And wouldn't you know it? That same week, Haley's posting unboxing videos of all these new clothes and shoes she bought online. The pattern was becoming, well, impossible to ignore. But the most blatant one, oh man, this one was a doozy. A frantic midnight call for an $800 LLC filing fee to save her business. Phyllis sent the money, and then she did a little digging of her own. And she found out that business license Haley was talking about, it didn't even exist. It was a complete and total lie. So, armed with 2 years of receipts and screenshots, Phyllis drives over to her parents' house the next day. And this wasn't going to be a screaming match. Oh no. This was going to be a presentation, a final, undeniable statement of facts. So she walks into the living room, and you can just imagine the tension, right? The whole family is there ready for a fight. But instead of yelling, Phyllis just calmly asks Haley a simple question. And Haley, of course, just stammers. She has no idea how much and mumbles something about, paying her back someday. And that's when Phyllis drops the number, $39,500. and the room just goes dead silent. This wasn't some guess, right? This was the documented, itemized total. It covered everything from car payment she'd co-signed on to thousands and thousands in these so-called emergency money transfers.
And then she delivered a line that just completely dismantled Haley's entire fake life. She opens her laptop and just shows them everything, side by side. The Instagram post of Haley thriving, right next to the bank statement showing Phyllis's money paying for it. The proof was it was undeniable. And then Phyllis laid out the consequences. And again, these weren't threats. She'd already been to the bank that morning. The forms were already filed. It was done. The car that Haley was driving around, refinance in 45 days or it's gone. The business line of credit that Phyllis co-signed for, frozen. The full balance is due in 15 days. Just like that, the safety net was gone. So, as you can probably imagine, the fallout was immediate and explosive. Haley's entire world, which was basically built on Phyllis's credit and cash, started to crumble the second Phyllis walked out that door. Haley's reaction pretty much went through all the classic stages. First came the rage. We're talking 60 phone calls in 3 days. Then came the panicked begging to please just undo it. And when that didn't work, she took to social media to play the victim with all these vague posts about betrayal. And get this, when that didn't work, she actually tried to commit fraud by opening new credit cards in Phyllis's name, which of course Phyllis was ready for and shut down immediately. But maybe the most devastating part of this whole aftermath was a quiet confession from her dad. Over coffee a few weeks later, he admitted it. He knew. He knew what Haley was doing the whole time. He saw the financial abuse, but he just stayed silent to keep the peace with his wife, Phyllis's mom. He basically enabled the whole thing just to avoid a fight at home. Wow. But you know what? This story isn't really just about a family imploding. It's about Phyllis's reconstruction, her comeback. With that massive financial deadweight of her family finally cut loose, she was actually free to build a life for herself, on her own terms. And the results were, well, they were immediate and they were tangible. Her credit score shot up 40 points in just 3 months. 40 points! As soon as all of Haley's co-signed debts and joint accounts vanished from her credit report, her financial health just skyrocketed. And she put that new financial freedom to really good use. Phyllis qualified for a mortgage all on her own, bought her own house with a garage for her work van, which she was so excited about, and she found a sense of peace that she hadn't felt in years. She totally proved that the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting ahead. It's about thriving. So this whole thing really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? Phyllis's story is, yeah, pretty extreme, but the dynamic, I think it's one a lot of us can recognize. It really makes you think about that super fine line between helping a loved one and just enabling them. And it makes you wonder what happens when you finally decide to stop being the foundation for someone else's fake empire and you start building your own.